All right, so Canva, some extra ways to edit and kind of an open forum if you have any suggestions, and just knowing that this is all demonstrated using the education view. So I'm not using my pro account, I'm using the education account with my mmiller@neoshow.edu account. So this is something we can all use. You all have access to all of these editing options. So I was trying to come up with how do I want to, how much more can we talk about Canva? This is my third or fourth Canva lunch bites, but I wanted to kind of dig in a little bit deeper on the different editing tools. And it's kind of hard to demonstrate unless we're like building something and like, why would I use this tool? How does this work whenever I'm building something? And so I actually thought I would just go ahead and incorporate something that I'm going to be working on here in the near future anyway for a leadership group that I'm a part of. And it is like a poster board, like a whiteboard, a tri-fold poster board that I need to design and put pictures on or text or something like that. And so I need to have a template that's the size of the poster board so I kind of know where I want to place everything. And so I got on Walmart and I ordered a poster board. And this is what happens when you order on Walmart and don't go to the actual store. You get a poster board that is Barbie size. So, but it does have the measurements and stuff on it. And it is 22 by 14 trifold. Well, nothing like that is on Canva. I looked. These are 5.5, and this is 11 in the middle, and then it's 14 tall. So I was like, this is the perfect time because I went in. I was like, okay, I'm going to design this on my own on Canva, and then it dawned on me that I could show you guys how to do that too. So I went into Create Design, and when you come in with your own measurements, it really does not matter which template or suggested design that you use. I just always go straight to the poster. And so you go in, open a new document or a new Canva design. And the first thing I want to do is resize. So that is in the top left-hand corner. And I always use this checkbox here. And you've got width and height, and then make sure it's in inches unless you're using it. You have different dimensions. So the width we decided is 22. Let me let this person in real quick. So the width is 22 and the height is 14. Okay. And the highlighted option is to copy and resize. That means that it's going to keep this design that you open and it's going to make another copy that's the new size. We don't need to do that because this is blank. There's no reason to keep this. So we're actually going to choose the option below that's just resize. So it's going to keep this design and it's just going to make our design the measurements that we need. Okay. The first thing I want to do, because I do not want this to be titled Untitled Design 22 by 14. So I'm going to give it a name. We're going to name it KCCLI Whiteboard, because that's what I'm making it for. That way, no matter what, when it's saved to my home page, it's got a title. And if I don't give it a title right off the bat, it will take whatever words I put on there first and make that the title. So that also keeps the confusion lower when you're looking through all of your different designs, because you've given it an actual name that you know what it is. It's not just the word the, or whatever words you put on there first is what it would have taken. So that's taken care of. Now back to the design. So we've got 22 by 14 high, but I need these little flaps so I know where my designs stop. So for me, for a visual, I go in and I go to the elements and I choose a line. So If you do not see the line option in your elements section or drawer, because this opens like a drawer. So like, let's say you see that right there, you don't want to see it anymore. You can click that and close it and you can hide it. But if you do not see this line option, you can always type it up here. And then you'll see the option to choose line, and then it puts it on your design. Okay. I need this to show me what's 5.5 inches because both of those flaps are 5.5 inches. So if you click, turn your mouse into a plus sign and you click and drag, you can see now that it's showing me how long that line is, right? I need it to be 5.5. I'm going to move it up here to the top and put it in the corner so I know how far out 5.5 is, right? Then I'm going to do Control C, Control V, and make another one to drag it over here on the other side. Now I know where the 5.5 is. You can also go as far as dragging this thing out to 11. You can tell whenever I move like away from being a straight line, it tells you that it's 3% or 3 degrees off from center or straight, negative. We want it to be on 0. And you can see it's 11.5 and I need it to just be 11. So let's see if we can get it to 11. Of course, my mouse is a thumb controlled mouse, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult, and because you guys are watching me. So, but you can get the guess here that we are 11 inches there in the middle, right? So our 5.5s on each side are correct. So I can delete that line. But I still need to know where the fold is for that whole entire, both the wings, the outsides, and then the middle. So that way I know where I'm putting my content. So I'm going to go ahead and put another line out here. And I'm going to make it go this way. And I want it to be 90 degrees. And I'm going to pull it all the way down and pull it all the way up. So now I can tell where those flaps are. I'm also going to, I don't need it to be a dark black line. I'm just using it for a visual. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to change it. So you've got these different, the line styles option here at the top. You click on that, it gives you these different options. You can do rounded endpoints, or it's going to be a square edge. You can change the weight of that line. I don't need it to be, I liked the 4 or 5, that's fine. But I'm going to change it to this dotted line, and I'm going to change the color. That's what this is right here. If you hover over anything, it's going to usually give you the drop down and tell you what it is. But I want to change the color to a light gray. So it's there for me to see, but I'm able to kind of see the whole picture still. I'm going to copy that, Control C, Control V, and drag that over here. So that way now I can see my little Barbie trifold, right? Okay. So you can either leave these 5.5 ones. Well, I just lost that. Let me undo. You can leave those there or you can remove them. I'm going to go ahead and remove them because I already know how far over I have to go. So those, and you can also, I believe, yes, I'm going to lock those lines. So that way, see when I hover over those, I can't accidentally move those lines. So I'm going to lock it. It's there. Once you click on it, you have your tools again. You can lock the position. So now you can't just accidentally grab it and move it. So that's good for any kind of design, any kind of element you put on your design. If you know for sure that's where you need it, you can go ahead and lock that into position, and then it's not going to move all over the place whenever you're trying to work with your other images or text. If you need to unlock it, you can just click on that again, I believe, and unlock. So I clicked that twice and it unlocked it, but I'm going to go ahead and lock it back up. Okay, any questions before I keep moving? And like I said, I'm going to try and be done by 12:45. So do not hesitate to ask questions or stop me if I'm moving too fast. Okay. So on this whiteboard for this design, we're going to have text, we'll have images, and we'll have so images that maybe we copy from Google and put on. And I don't know how legal that is. That's just, I'm just using those as examples. So don't quote me on that. I will look into that and see if we should be copying and pasting images. It's just easy for demonstration. And we'll use all of these elements options too. So first things first, putting text on here and using different texts and alignment and the effects of text. So you have all of these different options that you can use, like let's say we wanted to use that kind of style. You can change what it says, my why. You can also change the color up here. Maybe, oh, it's gotta be, maybe it's because I wasn't clicked on it. Nope, it doesn't want to change that. There we went, there it went. Okay, so I don't know why it made me highlight it, but I had to highlight it to change the color there. And you can tell that when we're clicked on that, the effects box is pushed. So you can tell that it has effects on it. And it's going to be that neon effect here. We can change the intensity of that neon effect. So obviously it's going to have a darker color the further to the left you have of the color you chose, or more of just the shadow of the color you chose if you go to the further to the right. If you do not like that effect and you want to change it to something else, you've got lots of different options here. But we can tell, so for example, when we choose shadow, the shadow is pretty far off of the actual words and can kind of be a little bit hard to read. You have transparency that can lighten up that shadow. You can change the color of the shadow. So let's say I wanted it to be pink or blue. Transparency then, so it makes the color lighter, obviously, if it's going to be transparent or darker and not transparent at all. You've got a blur option to blur that shadow. So these are just making your document a little bit more appealing instead of just a flat text. It gives it some depth. You can change the offset of that. So let's take that blur away. And let's say we wanted the offset of the shadow to be a little bit more directly under or behind. You can shift that over and then it's just a slight shadow. You can also decide where you want the sun to be. Where's the shadow going? So you can move that here, the direction. Okay. I do like the blur option because it kind of just lifts it up off of the page a little bit. Lots of different things you can do here. Okay, and that's just on shadow. So if we were to choose any of these other ones, you know, you could go here and you could say, oh, okay, the thickness of that hollow is too much. So let's bring that down a little bit. So the nice thing is if you choose a certain effect, you are able to edit a little bit further with those effects. You don't have to be stuck with just what's given. And most of the time you can change the colors, as you can see down here, what colors are chosen for you. And so most of the time you're able to go in and edit those as well. So I would definitely recommend when you're using text to use an effect on those main. So like this, my why is kind of like the title of the poster. And so that's where I want to have the most effect, because you want to draw your attention to, or your viewers' attention to that piece. So that is the focal point of the poster. When it's just straight text, so like let's say it's a paragraph of something, probably just the flat text is going to be better because it's easier to read. And that you can just choose the heading, subheading, or a little bit of body text. And that will just give you a text box that you can type whatever you need to. Let's see, let me write through college years through full-time career. Just something to put there. Okay, so it automatically put it in the middle underneath the my why section, and it wrapped that last word to the next line because there wasn't enough room on the top line. You can easily just drag that out, and it will put making the box longer. We'll let that other word come back up to the top. But I'm wanting this to fit and be the same width as my why. So if you go to the corner of that text box and turn your arrow to a diagonal, you can make that smaller without having to use the font size. You can just make the box smaller, which will make the text smaller, and then it will make it easier to fit wherever you're wanting to fit. Now, I don't want it to be the same color, so I'm going to go over the colors and I'm going to change that to black. All right. As you can tell, it's a little bit hard to read on top of that my why. I'm going to bold it, and then I'm also going to throw on there a white shadow. So you will only see it on the actual letters here. I'm going to zoom in. Down here on the bottom is zooming in. Okay, so change this to white, and the transparency, I don't know why it's not changed. There it is. Offset is going to be a little bit more further close. All right, so you can tell that that kind of makes the word years and careers pop out a little bit better on top of that orange letter. So not only do effects help bring to life the font, but it also helps stand the font up off of whatever may be interfering behind it. So I always recommend using the same color of whatever. So these are over the top of white, so you cannot see the shading behind those. You only see the shading behind what we're trying to highlight and bring out. So if this was on a black background, you would want to make the shadow black, and then it would pop out on top of whatever is behind it. Okay. Any questions so far? So I know for sure I want to keep these two together. I know that this is my title, logo, whatever for this poster. So I need those two to be together, and I don't want them to separate. I like the spacing of these. I kind of want to make sure. So I'm making the box around the text a little bit tighter. So I know the C is lined up with the M, and I'm going to make this box a little bit bigger with the text. So the R lines up with the edge of that Y. And then I'm going to highlight both of them. So you can either click and then shift, click, and now they're both selected, or you can click and drag and select both of them. If you click on position, you can then position them together to be centered. So then that will fix any kind of moving around that I did there. And then in this little pop-up here, you have group, and that groups those two together. So no matter what I do, wherever I move those, they go together. And then I can resize it together as well. Okay. Okay, so going back to elements, we're going to add images. So first, we're going to be looking for, let's see, college years. So if I type in graduation, or let's type in college and see what it gives us. You're going to have graphics, photos, videos, audio, frames, charts, so many different elements. So, and you can see that here again, graphics, photos, videos, audio. So anything that has to do with college, they'll show it here. You can either click see all, or you can click through them like this. I'm going to look through photos. So I went to see all, and let's see something generic. Let's do this. So you just click on it once and it sends it over to your design. I'm going to put it up in the left-hand corner because that's the first thing that I'm going to be talking about whenever I just present on this. So easy enough. That kind of tells me has to do with college, graduation, and I can either leave this how it is, or I can edit the photo. I can do a couple different things with it. You can blur it. There's the intensity here on that. I'm actually going to do undo. Undo is my favorite thing. But I'm going to show you right here the background remover. So it says Pro right here, but like I said, I'm using the education account or format, and Pro, anything Pro is usually okay on education. So I clicked there and now I've removed the background, which you can't see because it's not on top. So let's see. Well, I guess it is. No, it's not. There we go. Bring to the front. So now you can see that there's no white background, and I can put this wherever I want. And the only place that is covering up any text or whatever is the actual image. So that's kind of handy. You notice when I just did that, I was like, I can't see that it's in front of my text. So I clicked on position and I had these 4 options here. Move backward just moves it backward 1 level. So when you have a bunch of items on your design, so you have text, you have multiple images, you have some shapes, and you need this to just go 1, 2 levels behind, you just click background or backward until you get that image where you need it. Same thing with forward. That brings the image forward 1 level at a time. If you know you need it all the way to the back, click back to the back or to back, or to front. Simple enough on those. If you need this image in the middle of the entire document, you can do that by clicking center. Middle is going to, so if I were to leave this over here and I just click middle, it's going to just take it to the middle of the page where it is. If I click center, it'll take it to the center of the document. But if I have it here and I click center, it's literally just going to move it over to the center. So if you're wanting it to be in the middle of the entire document, you'll have to use both of those, center and middle. Okay, but you can also see when I'm moving it around, you've got those purple lines. If I keep moving it around, if I don't want to use the easy buttons, I will eventually find the center of the document and it will give me those plus signs. Okay. All right. Let's see. Thank you, Crystal, for answering D. I missed that message. Okay. Any questions about those images? Okay. You go back to elements, it's still going to have your search results. Or no, I'm sorry, it's not your search results. It's just the images that you have chosen to use in your board. It'll be under your recently used. I'm going to, oh, I know. My first job was at Independence. Oops, I don't know how to spell Independence. Also don't know how to spell college, but I'm going to click on images. I'm going to take this guy here. Again, like I said, this is just for example purposes. Please don't think that you can just go out and use anybody's content out here. And I did copy paste. Good old pirate. So that was simple. You just like, let's say you have Google Photos, or on our website, we have, I can't remember what it's called, where we have our images that were saved and stuff, and you're needing to use it for a flyer, an advertisement. You can just do Control copy, Control C, Control V, and plop it in there. Once you do that, it will show up under your uploads. Okay, so anytime you do any kind of Control C and Control V from outside and bring it in, it will show up as an upload. You can also go to click on Upload Files, and you will be able to bring it from a computer and in. You only have to do that once for each item. So if you have an image that you're going to use multiple times, let's say it's the panther head or something like that, you only have to upload it once and it will keep it in this drawer. Okay. All right. Shapes. So we kind of we've gone over this a couple of times in the other Canva lunch bites, but just knowing that there's a bunch of different shapes out here that you can use. Again, you can search for different shapes. So if you need a heart, you can choose that, bring it up, and change the color of it. You can also, let's see, oh, you can change it. Like if I decide I don't want a heart anymore, I want a, star, you can do that. You can give it an outline. So many different things that you can do. Change the color of that outline. Animate is more for, this is going to be a flat document, so this isn't going to be sent as a file, so I don't need any animation here. I was hoping, and I thought there was an edit option on these, but I guess not. So, or if there used to be, it's not there anymore. So it's just a flat image. Okay, so if we were to bring in, I'm going to do a copy paste from my pro account. So one of the things that I want to put on my whiteboard is, my children. So I brought this image over to another design in my other account, and I had already edited this image. This is not the full size of the image. So as you can tell, if you drag, I actually cropped that image to crop out anything extra. And so when I copied over, it kept that crop, but I could still expand if I wanted to. If I wanted to go back to the original size image or the original image, I could still do that. I could still have that whole image. And again, if you go over to uploads, it should be there, but it's not right now. So we're just going to ignore that part. But you can crop and you can also come back from it. So I think that's a great, because let's say I need to put this somewhere and then I find out I actually have more room for it, so I can go back to its original size. I don't know, this picture is kind of blurry, so I don't know if the background remover will work on this, but let's give it a try. It kind of did, but I would want to remove this person's leg here, right? We don't really need that in the image. So if I click on that and I come over here to my background remover, I have some different settings. I can erase a little more. So it's going to show me my full image instead of just the cropped image. I don't need to worry about these guys over here because they're not in the cropped image, but I do want to go ahead and click and drag and erase any of that extra person there. Okay. You can make your little brush a little bit smaller so I can get in between. This is not an editing software in the sense of editing photos, but it is nice to be able to remove the background. And it is awesome that the education accounts allow you to do that now. So click the back arrow, goes back in there, zoom out a little bit, and now she's all by herself, hitting the ball into nothing. Okay, but that's the nice way of getting, well, and I don't know why those showed back up, but they did. But so you can remove background off of your own images as well, which is nice. So let's say you have a picture of something that you need to put on an orange background. You can just highlight that one thing in your image instead of having to have the entire picture. We also have frames. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to, did I pass it? Oh, I was still on shapes. I'm in elements and then we have frames. So frames are different styles that you can put pictures in. So I need to get off of arrows because I didn't want that. I'm going to type in frames just so it can bring up all of them. See all. So all kinds of different frames. Here's a computer. This little graphic here means that you can drag an image in there and it will now look like it's on the computer. So let me grab another picture. Let's do a football picture. Maybe. Oh, I've got two now. All right, so I've got this image here. And all I have to do is drag it and then it plops it in that frame. So now it just kind of fancies up that image instead of just being a picture on your design. These are really cool. Like this one looks like a ripped page. If you want to detach that image from that frame, you just click on the three dots and you should say it should say detach image. I don't need the computer anymore. I actually want the ripped page. And then that looks pretty cool there. And then should be able to let me remember how, yeah, okay. If you double click on the image in the frame, you will be able to move where that picture is placed in that frame. And if you can, which this image you cannot because it's not wider than the frame, if the picture is wider than the frame, you should be able to move it however you want. But right now we're just moving it up or down to see where we want to place the yelling dad compared to the boys on the field. There we go. Okay, so that's kind of cool. You have a bunch of different options for frames. I definitely recommend using those when you're making flyers or anything like that. Just makes the image just a little more appealing. So many options. And you can, let's say you're looking for star frames. If you type it in the search bar, it'll bring up anything that might resemble a star. Looks like it also gives you other options that don't have anything to do with stars. But how about circle? Bunch of different circles. Okay. All right. Any questions about frames? No, okay. You also have the option to do charts. Let's see. So if you want to do a line chart or bar chart, line chart, pie chart, you click on those, you then get a table on the left side. So you can give it whatever name you want. So let's say years in college. We don't need to know that, but we're putting it on there anyway. First teaching gig, any titles you're wanting. Number of kids, just fun. I'm just putting fun things out there, but you can put whatever title you want. If you need to remove a row, you can delete rows here, which then also removes a part of the pie chart. You can change your numbers here. I don't have 4 kids. Don't get excited about that. Let's see, how many years in college? That's about right. 10 sounds good. So this is nice. I just found out about this a couple months ago. I did not realize we had the charts option because, you're going out to Excel or Word or whatever, making the charts and then trying to bring it into whatever you created on Canva. And I mean, you can do that still, and you can import them, as you can tell here. But if you just have a quick chart that you need to create, you can create that right here with the table and everything. And then you can change any of the colors of the pie chart. If you would rather keep with Neosho colors, you can do that here. You just if you click on these little tabs up here, that's how you change the colors. Okay. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. A couple other different options for settings too. Okay. A lot of options for charts. I'm pretty impressed with that. Okay. So when we use an element that is a Canva element, so I'm going to use a graphic. Let's see. I'm just going to choose this little cute singing crew here. It comes in as brown hair, rosy cheeks, red shirt. And let's say I want them to actually be wearing orange shirts. You come up here and you've got these little color boxes here. So, excuse me. Even though you brought this in as a graphic from Canva that already has colors on it, they allow you to change those colors. So I can change their shirt to orange, the buttons to black. Let's say I want their hair, or maybe that's their pants. I'm not really sure. It might be both. Let's say, yeah. So whatever is that color in the image, it's going to change it here. So the pants and the hair were both the same colors, so that's why it changed there. And then the stars and the shoes were all green, and so it changed it there. So that's really awesome. I've enjoyed doing that whenever I look up for any kind of graphic that I'm using for any of our advertisements or marketing or anything. I'm able to change it. It doesn't have to stay the colors that they have in there. So any of these options can be changed and edited to match whatever you need it, whatever color you need it to be. So I think that's really handy. Just look up here at the top and you can see those different colors and you can edit those colors however you like. Just helps with branding. Okay. This whiteboard is turning out beautifully. All right. Let's see what else. You do have the option to draw. So right here on the left, it's got your different, you have a marker, highlighter, eraser. So you can change the color. Let's make it orange, and you can change how the weight of your pen or marker. And so nobody really does a great job writing with a pen or a mouse, but you can do that. Oh, and then each stroke is its own little, I did not know this. This is new to me. So each stroke then becomes its own image. So if you need them to stay together, I would select all of them and then group them. Let's see if you click on that S. I don't like the way that S looks, so we're going to delete that. We're going to draw a new one. That one's way better. Okay, and then you click on the mouse, and that's, who's kidding? Who am I kidding? That's not way better. Delete that. And maybe if we draw it like my daughter draws her S's. Nope, still terrible. But as you can see, if you are writing something and or wanting to use the draw feature, it's kind of nice that each stroke is its own image, because then you're able to go in and delete and edit without having to delete the entire thing. So I think that's all I was going to show you guys today. Was there anything that you came in thinking you were going to see and you did not get to see it? No. Okay. If you think of anything, or you watch back this video, because I am going to post it up on our YouTube channel. If you watch back and you think of something or a different way to do things, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much for showing up, and let me know. And I will not have another lunch bite until fall. So if you come up with anything that you would like to see in those, please let me know. I'd love any ideas. Have a great Monday.